Now you see Joe Nemechek dropping back.
Yeah, Joe, on the right side of your screen, discretion the better part of valor. He knows he does not have the horses and doesn't want to probably create a big mess.
You know, I agree with Rusty. I think this story is going to keep going on with this grass getting in these grills, because these cars are looking for the bottom of the racetrack, trying to find the fastest way, and they're going to keep clipping that grass.
So Jimmie Johnson now taking over the race lead. He'll choose the inside line, and yes, I know that we might as well acknowledge it. There are empty seats this year, even a few more than last year. I'm sure that people will be writing and talking all about it, and there are a dozen reasons. We're not going to go into that. We're going to focus on the race as the pace light is turning down pit road. And we have completed what will be 20 laps when he turns down this time by. Coming down towards the green flag. Dallas Clark is still up in the tower. Reminds us of Jack Nicholson. He stayed up there for quite a while for the Indy 500. Back to green flag racing.
You could see Montoya try to get over there on the right rear corner of Jimmie Johnson's car to see if he could stay up beside him and maybe make a pass here.
So far, so good.
Boy, Montoya, he likes that groove, and boy, he is making it work. Can he clear and coming out of 2? Jimmie says, hold on a second. We're going to try and go down the backstretch side by side. He's got a little help from Mark Martin behind him.
See Montoya once again trying to get over and side draft a little bit, slow Jimmie down. It worked.
Here comes Montoya again on that higher line. Through 3. This time, can he hold on to it on the north chute? He's got the position.
Impressive pass right there.
It's hard enough to pass on the outside on an Indy car, let alone with one of these 3,400-pound sleds. Holy smokes, what a great move.
Well, he just did everything textbook that you have to do. He side drafted him twice, got that car slowed down a little bit, and then was able to dive off in the corner ahead of Jimmie.
Little action further back there is Clint Boyer trying to get underneath Joey Logano. Logano sliding up the track. This could cost him more than just a few spots.
Yeah, it's not where you want to be there. You get outside of that groove, and it's very slick. No grip at all.
David Reagan also going by. Keep an eye on the 14 car as well. He was back in that mix coming through.
If you remember, Joey Logano pitted there. You see all the tape on the front. He got tires in. That's when they wouldn't let him fuel. So when he came down pit road earlier, he probably just got gas and got back out and stole some track position. But he's paying for that, having these tires with a few more laps on them.
Jeff Burton underneath him. Here comes Paul Menard. They head their way in through 4.
About Kyle Busch there in that mix too.
Kurt Busch going through underneath the 14. Well, I'll tell you what, we have had a lot of early action here, and for a place that's been traditionally known as hard to pass, we've had a lot of passing.
Well, I think what these guys talked about with the bigger hole that these cars were making in the air, that it was going to allow them to do a lot more drafting and passing.
Clint Boyer goes underneath the 9 of Casey Kane. Move Boyer into the top 10.
Speaking with Clint Boyer the other day, he was very confident that he had a car that was going to allow him to race up front the majority of the day, get himself in a position to try to win this race.
There you see Jeff Gordon. Gordon right now running in the 8th position with Harvick right behind him in 9th.
I'd have to think both of these guys are pretty content right now at sitting there, feeling their cars out, letting the racetrack go through the changes, getting some rubber back down, and see if all of this can work to their advantage and work on their car throughout the day.
Well, Pablo Montoya has opened up almost a full second lead, Dave.
Marty, that power move that he did on Jimmie Johnson around the outside might say something about his demeanor this weekend. Brian Patty, his crew chief, told me that he's been very calm this weekend. What does it mean? He said, I think it means when he gets to a place that he can call his zone, that he can call his domain, he's very calm and very confident on the racetrack. And that kind of maneuvering right there, that shows you Juan's not giving anything up today.
Ryan on the right side of your screen. And remember, in the pre-race show, they were talking about the different line. Jamie McMurray was saying he has a different line around this racetrack.
Yeah, those IndyCar guys like to do that late turn in to try to get the angle of the corner, and it really takes a different setup to be able to do that, because most of these drivers drive in there just a little bit shallower, stock car drivers do, than that IndyCar line, and I think they've really figured out how to make it work.
Matt Kenseth started 13th. He's been slowly, quietly staying out of all the trouble and moving up into the 4th position. He's finished second here twice. Ooh, he saw a little wiggle from behind, and Jamie McMurray, he gathers it back in. Meanwhile, his teammate Juan Pablo Montoya has opened up a full 1 second lead over Jimmy Johnson. There's your top 5 after 24 of 160. It's your car, your drive, and your chance to win. Enter for a chance to meet a Team Chevy driver and win your favorite Chevrolet at winyourchevy.com. And back here at the Brickyard 400, Chevrolet drivers, they've won the last 7 Brickyard 400s, 11 of the 16 that have been held, and they are running 1, 2, and 3 right now. Then on through to 5th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 12th. And yes, they qualified 9 out of the top 10. So it's been a banner weekend for Chevrolet, guys. All right, let's set it for you. While we were gone, Juan Pablo Montoya has stretched his lead from 1 second to 2 seconds over Mark Martin. Dave, what's the latest?
Marty, that clean air is certainly his best friend right now, but he thinks he might have a problem. Listen to the radio.
Right front tire is loose. Right front tire is loose. Still plenty of room.
I asked around just to make sure that wasn't some kind of a telling a chassis condition. You know, my right front, I'm somehow looser there, but no, the team's confirming that if it's something like that, it may be an issue on the right front. The tire changers think they got everything tight, but Juan's feeling something right now.
Well, let's go back to last night's nationwide race over to ORP. Kyle Busch thought he had a tire loose, and it turned out that it wasn't the case. Could it be buildup or something else?
Well, it could be anything from a tire being out of balance. You change these sets of tires, and they sometimes have a little different feel to them. And right now, we see lap times that Juan Montoya's running are very fast. I would watch that. If I saw it fall off or hear something else from him, I would think maybe we need to do something.
Well, he's not slowing down to check it out or fill it out a little bit more because he's running faster than anybody on the racetrack still. So I have a hard time believing. But sometimes you get a feel as a driver as to exactly what's happening. We see Biffle try to take that spot away from his teammate, Matt Kenseth.
This is our best battle near the front of the field, the battle for 4th. Kenseth took a look, or Biffle, I should say, took a look under his teammate, Matt Kenseth. Could not get it done. Now he loses that momentum and falls back.
Yeah, I talked to Greg Biffle last night about his race car, how it was in practice. He said really in that final practice he was extremely happy with what they had. He thought that it was going to be fast enough and drive good enough to give him an opportunity to win today.
Let's get an update on the 17. What's the latest, Dave?
Well, and really how they got here, Marty. Remember, Matt doesn't fancy himself a great qualifier, and his best qualifying here had been 10th. His second best yesterday, 13th. And that was after being a full second behind Montoya in mock qualifying runs on Friday. They worked on the car, and Saturday when they put it on the track, they were only 4 seconds off the pole sitter. Even though he may be passed by his teammate right now, very happy that they're starting up front in the 17 car.
Greg Biffle takes over that position, so move him into 4th. Kenseth back to 5th. Then it's McMurray and Harvick, 6th and 7th. See them at the top of the screen, and boy, now that Biffle has cleared him, he's pulling away. Great view as they come out of turn number 4, and you can see that everybody's sort of calmed down now, and we're in single file. We've got Kyle Busch. Let's get an update on him as we take a look throughout the field. Kyle restarted 32nd on lap 8 after being involved in that first lap caution. Doc?
He is moving his way, Marty, back toward the top 10, being shown now in 13th position. You know, Kyle had commented about how tight the car was yesterday, and boy, did they loosen it up, as you saw on lap 1 when he's running around. But if anybody can drive a loose race car in the Cup Series, it is Kyle Busch. Kyle said, loosen it up where I can turn it in the corner and I will get there. And folks, he is on his way now trying to move in on that 9 car for 12th position.
So never count Kyle out as he is coming back through the field. Let's get an update on the 99. Remember, he had that unscheduled pit stop for Carl Edwards, and now you see Carl as he cycled all the way back from 23rd and now finds himself into 16th. Take a look at the biggest mover since the restart, and it is Carl Edwards moving up 7 positions. Kevin Harvick and Dale Earnhardt Jr. up 6 each. Meanwhile, up front, well, Montoya's lead has dropped a little bit. Instead of being 2 seconds, it is now 1.7 seconds, but I don't think he's got a loose tire after all.